Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Healthy Living Scottsdale podcast. I'm Brandy, and I'm here with Gracie and JC today. So, hi, guys. How are you?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Good. Are you excited for the podcast today?
Oh, of course.
As always. It's always fun to bring information to you all. So we really enjoy being able to share just some tidbits of information that we think is interesting and important. Before we jump into our topic today, which happens to be on vitamin D, we want to give a shout out to one of our members, a client of the week, to Diana Sullivan. Diana Sullivan, when I first started, I was told she's the OG member. Been here since day one, and it's a special day for her. It's her birthday. So happy birthday, Diana Sullivan, and a big shout out to you. JC, I think you trained Diana more than Gracie and I. So what's just a little bit about Diana? I know she's super awesome to train.
Yeah, Diana, super funny, never fails to make me laugh on a day-to-day basis. She is easily one of the easiest people to ever work with. Is super just flexible. If I'm busy, she's so self-sufficient. She can just read her iPad and just do the workout, and no questions asked. She can just do it. I can always rely on her to be such a fun person to work with. So happy birthday.
Awesome. Yeah, she's so much fun. I always enjoy getting the opportunity to train with her. Okay, so let's dive right in. We're going to be talking about vitamin D today, and vitamin D deficiency, and a little bit around different things that you can do to try and get additional vitamin D. So the reason we're talking about vitamin D is because it's so important. Your body really needs vitamin D for many reasons. First of all, vitamin D helps with absorption of calcium, and we need that to help prevent osteoporosis. Getting vitamin D from sunlight is really important. Has impacts on your mood, also energy levels. I know if someone is deficient in vitamin D, they can feel really low energy, very lethargic. And then there's also some other health repercussions as well with a lack of vitamin D. So it can have some pretty negative consequences. So really want to be mindful about getting vitamin D. And then there's a balance between, getting vitamin D. You can get it from food sources. You can also get it from direct sunlight, but then also balancing the negative impact that can come from sun exposure. So Gracie, let's talk about sun exposure first of all, because that is a way that people can get vitamin D. What is the best time of day to utilize the sun to get vitamin D?
So the sun has different, level of UV throughout the day. Like in the morning and at the night, it's going to be really low levels of UV. Middle of the day is going to be really high UV. So if you think about in the middle of the day, if you're out there, say you go for a walk and you're wearing just a t-shirt, you might come back and you're like, oh, my skin's warm, it's a little bit hot. Well, that's because the UV is the highest, and therefore you're getting the most vitamin D at that time. But at the same time, those sun's rays are really harmful at that time. So if you're out there in the middle of the day, you want to make sure you're wearing sunscreen or you're protected. However, if you're going outside in the morning, that's probably the best time for you to get your sun in. So the morning sunlight, which is infrared sunlight, that's going to be between 6 and 9 a.m., which is going to be the most healing, and it's also going to stop your body's production of melatonin. And as we know, melatonin helps us fall asleep, and so we don't want that to continue producing all day. So stepping outside in the morning will, help reduce that melatonin from producing, and also, it'll just get you going, and it's really good for your skin. So it's got all those healing benefits.
Yeah, and being out in the sun in the morning too really helps with establishing or setting your normal circadian rhythm as well. So there's an added benefit to morning sunlight viewing. And then I know that evening sunlight viewing can also have that same sort of effect of balancing your circadian rhythm as well. So if you're out in the morning and then the evening, and then like you said, trying to avoid that that UV exposure during the day. With increase risks of developing skin cancer. And I know levels of skin cancer have gone up. I know that the use of sunscreen has increased over the years. And so I think there's been somewhat of, I don't know if there's a correlation between use of sunscreen and being low in vitamin D, but there may be some sort of correlation there. So if you are out in the morning and late afternoon or early evening, you don't have as high of risk of developing like a sunburn. So you can be out during those times and not have to apply the sunscreen like you would during the middle of the day.
Yeah, so actually like in the morning, say like you're outside for a walk or you're sitting outside, a lot of people think, oh, the sun's out, like I should wear a hat, I should wear my sunglasses. You actually shouldn't, so that you can get the proper sun exposure, because like the sun's rays aren't harmful at that time, like early morning and late night. So that's the best time for you to get that vitamin D in, and like you can protect your skin at the same time.
Great. So the sun is one way to get vitamin D. JC, what's another way that people can go about sort of increasing their levels of vitamin D?
Yeah, there are plenty of food sources you can get it from too, like fatty fish, for example. Like, there's plenty like salmon, tuna, mackerel. What's another one? Sardines, if you're into that. There's also vitamin D fortified foods as well. I think most milks in the United States are actually like vitamin D fortified anyway. I think at least like by 3%. But yeah, there are vitamin D fortified like cereals and milks, and then like egg yolks. Like that's also a sufficient source of vitamin D too.
Right. And if you don't know that you're vitamin D deficient, I think the best way to find out is to have blood work drawn. And I think getting regular blood work drawn is a good thing, just to know where you are with vitamin D and where you are in other levels as well. But you can get just a general blood work done, see where you are with your vitamin D level. If you are deficient, then your doctor can recommend like an adequate supplement amount for you to help increase your levels of vitamin D, in addition to the sunlight viewing, and then supplementing with nutrition and whole foods like you mentioned. Is there anything else that people can do to increase their vitamin D levels, or things that they should be aware of?
Something that I found when I was doing some research that I thought was really interesting. So when you go outside and you get your sun exposure, when you come back inside, you don't want to shower for like 2 to 3 hours, because if you like shower, wash your face, whatever, right away, that actually takes the oils off of your skin. And so it doesn't have enough time the oils can't force the vitamin D absorption. So when you go outside, make sure when you come back in, like you let your skin, sit for a while so that you actually can absorb the vitamin D. Otherwise it's kind of like, nothing really happened. You didn't get the benefits of it. So I found that really interesting, and just, something to keep in mind.
Right. And being in Arizona, we have plenty access to the sun. Do be aware of, the midday and being out during times where you have extreme exposure to those harmful UV effects. But if you are out in the morning and evenings, that's really the optimum time to get that vitamin D. I think vitamin D deficiency is pretty prevalent, and it seems to be something that's very common, I think, with more sedentary lifestyles, with people working from home and not being outside as much. There's less exposure to vitamin D, so that may be one reason why we're seeing some increase in vitamin D deficiency across the board. So get your vitamin D, be outside in the morning and the evenings, eat healthy foods that can help to supplement. And then if you are deficient, then, take some vitamins, some vitamin D supplementation that will help to improve your levels. Anything else anyone wants to add?
No, just like Gracie said before, like, try not to wear sunscreen when you're out early morning, and make sure that your skin is actually like being exposed to sun rays. Try not to wear a hat, try not to wear a long sleeve and sweatpants. Like, actually allow your skin to be exposed to the sun, or else like that radiation will not be able to like penetrate the skin, and you probably won't get that full benefit, especially if you are an older individual. As well as you age, like it's going to become harder for your skin to absorb that vitamin D and actually like make it. So it is especially important for those older individuals to actually like be outside in the sun. Don't wear your hat. Don't wear your long sleeves. Don't wear your sweatpants. And yeah, I think that's probably the biggest takeaway. And you're not going to know if you're deficient unless you go get tested. So go get your blood work done.
Yeah. And you'll get the additional benefit of, higher energy levels, being able to sleep better at night if you have a sufficient level of vitamin D. So get your blood work done, see if it's something that you really need to focus on, and you'll feel better if you address that. All right, I think that's all we have for you today. We'll catch you next time.
Thank you so much for listening to the Healthy Living Scottsdale podcast. Do you have a question that you'd like for us to answer live on the podcast? If so, all you need to do is head over to the Apple Podcast app on your iPhone and do 3 simple things. First, leave us a rating and review telling me what you think of the podcast. In that review, ask anything you want related to health, fitness, or nutrition. And if you want a shout out, leave us your Instagram handle or name. That's all you have to do. Then listen to hear your questions answered live on the next Q&A episode.